My name does not matter anymore. Anyone who knew me is gone. I was a stone worker in Upper Egypt. My father worked for the palace before me, and when he died, I took his place. People today tell stories about monsters in the desert. They are wrong. The worst thing I ever saw sat on a golden throne. Our ruler was a woman. People praised her in public, but nobody smiled when they said her name. They lowered their heads and watched every word. There was an old story that even the elders whispered only after sunset. They said the first kings were judged after death. If they ruled with fairness, their names lived forever. If they ruled with cruelty, their spirits were locked away beneath the sand until the world forgot them. Our queen believed she could escape that fate. She ordered a secret tomb built deep inside a cliff, far from the Nile. No priests were allowed. No records were written. Only workers who could keep silent. That was how I ended up there. More than 200 men carved stone day and night. Soldiers watched us every hour. Nobody left without permission.
At first, it felt like any royal project. Then, strange things started happening. Every morning, someone was missing. The soldiers said they had tried to escape. None of us believed them. One afternoon, I carried limestone into the deepest chamber. I heard voices behind a doorway that should not have existed. I stopped. The queen stood inside with 3 priests. On the floor lay 6 workers. Their hands were tied. One priest told her the old spirits demanded servants. She nodded without hesitation. The soldiers dragged the workers toward a narrow pit. The men screamed until heavy stones covered the opening. Nobody ever opened it again. The queen simply said, "The dead must never be alone." That night, nobody in the camp slept. The next morning, everyone worked faster. Weeks passed. The tomb became larger than any palace I had ever imagined. Its walls were filled with strange symbols instead of prayers. I once asked another worker why. He looked terrified.
"They are not asking for mercy," he whispered. "They are asking for power." After that, he refused to speak again. 3 days later, he disappeared. One evening, I noticed fresh footprints leading away from the camp. I followed them from a distance. They ended at a cave hidden by broken rocks. Inside were dozens of wooden boxes. Each box carried a person's name. Most belonged to workers I knew. Every box was empty. Behind me, I heard hundreds of people screaming. Then, silence. I crawled for hours before reaching daylight. I never went back. Years later, the Queen died. The official story claimed she passed peacefully in her palace. Nobody mentioned the missing workers. Nobody mentioned the hidden tomb. Decades passed. The desert buried everything. I became an old man. One season, heavy rain broke part of the cliff where we had worked. Curious villagers climbed inside. Only one returned. He said the chamber was empty. No bodies. No bones. Only thousands of handprints pressed into the stone walls from the inside. The Queen's coffin had also vanished. People laughed at his story. I did not. Last year, my grandson
brought home a carved stone he found while digging near that same cliff. I almost dropped it. It carried the same strange symbols from the hidden tomb. When I turned it over, someone had carved fresh words into the back. The carving was not ancient. It looked almost new. It simply said, "There are still witnesses left."